Good morning, everyone. Clint McLaughlin here, Midwest Market Management. It is Thursday. Wow, had a brief lapse there. It is Thursday, July 3rd. So we're rolling into 4th of July weekend. Obviously, a pretty critical time period ahead of us as we move into corn pollination. I got Riley Sykart on with me here, and we're going to jump right into U.S. weather. Riley, what do we got going into the weekend?
Some small changes since Tuesday that hasn't hurt the market any, but not anything crazy going on. So I'll just go ahead and hop right in here. First thing, we got to show 1 to 5 day temperatures. Not anything too crazy. Very similar to Tuesday. Some regions hitting the 90s. Everywhere else, mid to upper 80s. Good areas weather-wise to be growing corn. I mean, mid 80s is exactly ideal. So this is about as close as it gets, Clint.
Yep, looking good.
Yep, 6 to 10 days showing a little bit more heat to the west. Um, as you look into wheat country, harvest is underway, Clint. Does that cause any big damage when you have heat this time of year?
No, actually, it's probably favorable as long as there's not a lot of moisture with it, which hasn't been the case. But overall, I would hope it, I would think that it would help things more than hurt it.
Gotcha. And other than that, crops in that area, as you look towards the Dakotas, Nebraska, it's got to be an extended period before it starts to really be an issue. So for right now,
Yeah,
I
the
wouldn't say.
Bulls will be looking for a shift of this clearly moving to the northeast. Which I mean, it's only July 3rd, but I don't know that there's any evidence to support that that's going to happen. And even if it did, I mean, nothing in here is crazy alarming. As I always say, if 85 is ideal, 93 is not hot.
Exactly. So temperature is not a super big concern. Then looking back over the last 2 weeks here, northern corn belts had some pretty solid rains. Easterns had some scattered stuff. Southerns had some scattered stuff, but nothing really new or unknown in that previous 2 weeks worth.
Go
Looking,
back here. I do want to talk about something here for a moment. So here's the previous 13 days, and you do start to couple this with the next 13 days. And, the purpose of this is from a national yield perspective, right? Well, and we tend to be corn focused, but I don't know that this weather and this map is significantly conducive to out of the park soybean yields. They have been wet from day one. And I'm not calling a disaster by any means because a lot of Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota areas that have in the past years been predominantly dry, they will probably benefit from the moisture. But I believe a lot of this excessive moisture is also putting a ceiling on some of the higher producing ground.
yeah, I mean, the old adage, beans don't like wet feet, and that's definitely holding true. I can say here, right in the middle of Iowa, I mean, beans don't look terrible by any means. There's a lot of stuff that looks really solid, but it doesn't look nearly as good as the corn does if you're comparing crop to crop. So
And the other thing about beans is what looks good and what produces bushels in the combine are not always the same thing. In fact, yeah, I think it's quite contrary. Oftentimes, the beans that look the best leave farmers disappointed, and the ones that they're most shocked with are often raggedy looking beans that they had no optimism for.
which I've heard that from agronomists too the last few years. Beans that actually get nipped by chemical drift or stuff like that and that cups them early in the year, it can
Yeah.
actually have a yield benefit because it helps the beans node closer together. And when it does that, it gives it the potential to grow more beans per plant.
Sure.
So the thought process is there. But anyway, taking off the agronomist hat, moved back to the weather side of things. Drought monitor map just came out here today. Not anything super unexpected here, but I would say that northern region of Illinois and even some of Indiana starting to turn a little bit of a darker shade. And I'd say it's worth keeping an eye on now. We've kind of kept a not so close attention paid to it, but now I think it's the time where as that color's getting darker, they're going to need some rains there because that's key production areas, Clint, especially Illinois. I mean, that's high
Well,
yielding.
yeah, and then you couple that with the South that's been clearly banged up from too much moisture, and you got the story, the tale of two stories here, and you're losing yield in the South from too wet, and may or may not be losing yield in the North to dryness. So certainly Illinois is probably not at this stage of the game super proud of its runnings for the year.
No, I'd say, like you said, it's got the tail of both sides, but still by no means a disaster. Wouldn't say we're on pace for a 2012 type issue by any means. So moving ahead, 1 to 5 day, this is part of the reason that the markets started to have a rally over the last couple days here. Rains have been toned down quite a bit. Still some stuff being shown in the Dakotas of solid amounts, and southern Nebraska, northern Kansas has a little bit of a blip there, but everywhere else the rain's kind of been toned down since when we were looking at this on Tuesday, and that's been a big part of the reason that the markets have, I would say, have some rally too, is some of that water's coming out, and the extended forecasts as we look at that are not super wet, so there is a chance that we start drying out here in this month of July, which when it comes to a national yield perspective, I wouldn't say there's a concern there yet, Clint, but on a market standpoint, is there a chance they start the thought creeps into their mind? Sure.
Yeah, and we very well may add some risk premium in there just due to the fact that we're so low. It wouldn't be terribly uncommon to start adding some risk premium in, particularly for soybeans, but ultimately we have the most critical period of corn right in front of us right now.
Yeah, exactly. So moving in the 6 to 10 day, the 6 to 10 day model's been changing quite a bit. So I'm kind of curious to see how this looks next Tuesday, but we are seeing some spottier stuff in the eastern belt and then that northern Iowa to Minnesota range. I thought it was interesting yesterday they were showing a potential like 9-inch rain to hit western Iowa, and now it's just completely gone.
Yeah.
So this 6 to 10 day model, I would say that the weather right now is very unpredictable because day by day this has been changing quite a bit. So
and I don't think you'll need to wait till
seriously.
next Tuesday. I don't think you'll need to wait till next Tuesday to see what this map looks like. I think you can look at the Sunday night open and you're going to have a real good indicator of what this map looks like. And if the moisture is there, I think that you might run out of a little steam here, at least maybe temporarily. And if they pull the moisture out of this map come Sunday night, I would expect some fireworks on Sunday night and Monday.
I agree. So moving into the 1 to 13 day, earlier in the week, we saw that Eastern Corn Belt was yellow, and along with the whole eastern half of the United States was yellow, and that stuff's been toned down now. So interesting, like you mentioned, Sunday night is going to be the key decider. The board won't lie. If the rain's in the forecast, the board's likely going to be red, and if they take it down like they've been doing, then it probably goes green. So on a weather standpoint right now, starting to actually have some impact on the market, but in terms of reporting what's going on, I would say conditions haven't changed much, Clint. That's all I have today.
Yep, I appreciate it. I hope everybody has a wonderful 4th of July weekend. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and it's fun to see the board rally in here, and maybe we'll come in Monday and get a little follow through, get some opportunities to get some sales on that we have not yet had that opportunity to do. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Tuesday.
This material has been prepared by a sales or trading employee or agent of Midwest Market Management and is or is in the nature of a solicitation. This material is not a research report prepared by of Midwest Market Management Research Department. By accepting this communication, you agree that you are an experienced user of the futures markets, capable of making independent trading decisions, and agree that you are not and will not rely solely on this communication in making trading decisions. Distribution in some jurisdictions may be prohibited or restricted by law. Persons in possession of this communication indirectly should inform themselves about and observe any such prohibition or restrictions. To the extent that you have received this communication indirectly and solicitations are prohibited in your jurisdiction without registration, the market commentary in this communication should not be considered a solicitation. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by simulated historical tests of strategies, is not indicative of future results. Trading advice is based on information taken from trades and statistical services and other sources that of Midwest Market Management believes are reliable. We do not guarantee that such information is accurate or complete, and it should not be relied upon as such. Trading advice reflects our good faith judgment at a specific time and is subject to change without notice. There is no guarantee that the advice we give will result in profitable trades.